few housekeeping tips to share. So first of all, welcome. We're super excited that you all are here. Again, I'm Dr. Bridget Sellers with Dr. Sellers Educate. We have Dr. Lisa Drews with us today. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Drews. We will be excited to learn a whole lot more about Padlet and how it aligns with Competency 1, Facilitation of Learning, as it relates to the NLN competencies. So a little bit about Dr. Sellers Educate. If you all are not aware, we are a company that focuses on helping nurse educators get certified by NLN. That is our one mission. That is our one focus. We work collaboratively with other educators across the country to help them on their journey to be successful. We all know that CNE is a very challenging exam. However, we do know with proper preparation, with proper resources, you can be successful. One of our focuses this year and in 2023 as well will be to help nurse educators not only achieve competency and pass the exam, but also to maintain it. So you'll hear more information about that offering as we move forward this year. During our time together today, we're going to spend about 45 minutes. What we will ask you to do, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. I will be monitoring the chat as Dr. Drews walks through the Padlet technology with us. But you can also raise your hand. So if you have the ability to be in front of a computer, I know some of you may be in different places, and that's fine. You can definitely put it in the chat. We will go ahead and address questions as we're going through our time together today. Hopefully you all received the pre-assignment, and if you did not, I will go ahead and put that in the chat right now. It really was a PDF to help you walk through how to get set up with Padlet. Dr. Drews will be going through that today as well. So if you need the handout, if you want to go ahead and put it in the chat that you need it, that would be great. And then what I can go ahead and do is to just attach it so everybody has it there available to them. All right, so, okay, perfect. So I see some people are needing that. So I will make sure I go ahead and put the Padlet instructions in the chat. So that is posted now. What you will need to do is to download it to your computer. Okay, that's just how Zoom works. They require you to download it, and then you will be able to print it. All right, so excellent. We're seeing some of our colleagues from across the country, and we're super excited that you're here, and we too are excited to learn a little bit more about Padlet. I know I am. I have had the chance to use Padlet, and I have built one, but I'm always excited to learn some new things about technology that we use. All right, so you all should see it in the chat right now. And for those of you that are watching this on replay, you will see it in the instructions as well, a link so that you can print out those directions and have a resource as you move forward. I'm going to now transition to introducing Dr. Lisa Drews, and then she will get started in guiding us through Padlet and utilization of technology for our time together today. So Dr. Lisa Drews is the MSN Leadership Chair within the College of Health Professions and Natural Sciences at Wilmington University. Dr. Drews is an associate professor who has taught doctoral, graduate, and undergraduate courses in the College of Health Professions and Natural Sciences, the College of Education, and the College of Behavioral Sciences. She has earned her diploma in nursing from St. Francis School of Nursing and her bachelor in the Science of Nursing from New Jersey City University. She obtained a Master of Science in Nursing Leadership from Wilmington University. Dr. Drews earned her Doctorate of Higher Education Leadership also from Wilmington University. So double alumni, that's awesome. The focus of her doctoral work was in curriculum development, online education, course design, and end-of-life education. Her research study was titled Case Study, Design and Delivery of a New University Course in a Holistic Palliative and End-of-Life Care Certificate Program. Dr. Drews is a certified educator through the National League for Nursing. She's also a member of NLN, Sigma Theta Tau, American Nurses Association, Delaware Nursing Association, Delaware Valley National Professional Development Organization, and Delaware Association of Nurse Leaders. She has held numerous positions in Wilmington University's Omicron Gamma chapter of Sigma Theta Tau, and is also a member of the Delaware Medical Reserve Advisory Committee and a guest speaker for the American Heart Association. Dr. Drews is a member of the human trafficking programs at Wilmington University and has also presented numerous presentations on the role of the healthcare provider in human trafficking. Dr. Drews conducts peer reviews in her spare time, as if she's not busy enough already, for the Journal of Nursing Education, the Journal of Continuing Education in Nursing, and Nurse Education Today. Dr. Drews has also conducted nursing textbook reviews for Sage Publishers, Jones, as well as Jones and Bartlett Learning. Most recently, she has worked on using portfolio tools to demonstrate academic learning to professional practice. Let's give a round of applause virtually for Dr. Drews, and we appreciate you joining us here today.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that introduction. And the session's over. No, just kidding. Glad to see everyone here. And for those of you who have not created the Padlet yet, I'm going to share my screen right now. So you will be able to then create the Padlet as we're moving forward. So just pop this in here so I see everybody. So Padlet is a wonderful tool for engaging your learners. If you remember going to the food store, maybe when you were younger, and as you're going into the entrance, you were able to see bulletin boards with all those little tabs on them. Well, now we're using Padlet as that e-bulletin board that you can use to be able to do the same type of message delivery. And it's wonderful because as we go through all of this, you'll see the many uses for something like the Padlet, including being able to compile resources that are going to help you achieve success when you take your certified nurse educator exam. So again, I'm hoping that everybody has the link to join a Padlet. So when you join a Padlet, what you would do would be click the join. You'll be able to then walk through entering your email address and creating an account. And then you can begin to make a Padlet. You are able with a free account to create 3 Padlets. And that's typically what I had used. I have recently started paying monthly for the Padlets because I do use a lot of Padlets. However, you can still use this tool and archive your work so that this way you can continue to make Padlets even though you're using the free option. So when you want to make a Padlet, you're going to click on the Padlet, and this provides you with this wonderful repository of different ways to create a Padlet. You can use the wall, and basically that will, when you put websites, when you put videos, when you put documents, it's going to upload that way. You could do a stream, so it's almost like an Instagram or a Facebook where you're seeing all of the posts scroll down. You can do a grid if you are wanting to arrange it in specific rows. The shelf where you might want to actually have headers and then the content beneath. The map, which is always fun because then you can explore different areas. The canvas I like because you could use a scatter, and this is a nice tool to use when you are trying to do your timelines. So you can basically plug in the different sections of, okay, I'm going to visit the site and download the handbook, review the requirements, and then you could put as another connection, you could put the time that you're going to register to take the test. So again, this is really nice. Timeline is also great. I use this a lot when I'm teaching so that the students, when we're first starting the course, can see how many modules or what our key concepts are going to be as we are starting the course. And then at the end of the course, I design it like a finish line so then they can see at the end, okay, these were the objectives that we had for every week of a 7-week course. And these are the learning outcomes that I have achieved while I have been in these 7 weeks of study and being able to use the resources to achieve my learning outcome. So they're wonderful when you look at that, and you could certainly, like I said, create a Padlet right now if you'd like. You can bookmark your Padlets. You can share your Padlets, and I'll show you the share feature once we get into it. But I also like this gallery. This gallery is really nice because when you are looking at the gallery, that's not what I want. Sorry for that. The gallery typically gives you templates. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not that. It's this. No, I still again didn't do it right. Sorry. Gallery. There we go. So when you're looking at the gallery, it gives you this plethora of anything you want to learn. But the nice thing about it is when you edit one of these or select one of these, you can definitely edit it to what you want. And it gives you basically the ideas of how you can use these different format tools to convey whatever information you're trying to share. And again, I really do like these different templates because they're modifiable. All right, so let's go to our Padlet. So this is a Padlet that I've created for today's session. So when I created this Padlet, basically what you can do is when you're looking at it, the first thing you're going to do is go to your settings icon. And the settings icon is the area where it enables you to create your title. And the nice thing I've always liked about these Padlets is it gives you descriptions that are feel-good kind of descriptions. So if you start a Padlet right now, you might be titling it whatever you want, but then it's going to be described as feeling like a warm hug. So things like that. You can also add icons, which, I typically don't use the icons. But again, the wallpaper is personable. You can add your own wallpaper, which would enable you to upload video, upload pictures. You could take a photo of yourself. You can put a link. And then when you're looking at this fit or blur, you can actually do a tile, which would give you, if it was a picture, it would give you numerous photos across the template. And then if you want the background to not be so prominent, you can always make it blurry. The nice thing about that is as you are working through this, it's constantly asking you to save. So if there's content on there that you want to save, absolutely, you can use that icon. Also, it enables you to share with using the clipboard. And when you do use this, if you are going to share, you can also create a password. So this way your content is protected, that only the students who have the link and the password can use it. The other nice thing about this is when you're picking all of these other content areas in terms of font and the color that you want to use, you can add the attributions. So if you want people to identify who they are, you would click that. Comments, if you would like users to make comments. And then you also have these reactions. So you can have none for no reactions. You can have like for the posts that you want students to like. They can vote. So individuals can take a look at your post and they can give their own star rating. In terms of grading, you can use this to perhaps grade a discussion, or if you want to do a debrief and have everybody post some information regarding that. Of course, I would advise that you use a rubric when you're doing that. And so again, this is really a nice option as well. The content filtering, it enables you to require approval to post things, which typically if I'm using it in a forum where I'm trying to share information, I don't necessarily have them request approval, but what I do is filter for profanity just in case.
Dr. Drews, can I ask one question? It looks
Absolutely.
like, in the chat, we have colleagues that are asking for the URL for your Padlet that you're
Oh,
sharing.
sure.
Is that something you can put in the chat for them?
I absolutely can. So I'm going to save this now. And then we're gonna, so then you'll see how you can share it. We'll close this. And then when you click on your share, it's gonna say invite members. Now remember, this Padlet has a password, which is CNE 2022. So there's a couple of things that you can do. Here is the QR code if anybody would like to take a quick snapshot of the QR code for this. And then you could download it and share it. You know, when you're sending emails, you can upload this QR code to the email. Or you can copy the link, and that's what I'm going to do. And I will put it right into the chat.
Thank you, Dr.
There
Drews.
you go. And again, gives you the other options of emailing it, sharing it on social media. You could share it to a Google Classroom. You could save the image, save this as PDF. So it basically is a tool that you can use to deliver information to engage all learners. I absolutely love the fact that you can take these blank boards and fill them to your heart's desire. And really, when you're looking at this board, this is what a board that is moderately filled, because you can go all the way down and add more content to this. So this is filled with a shelf, but the way that you would add content is to take your information, and as you can see, you would put a title. It gives you the ability to upload documents. You could take a picture, and it will, as long as your camera's working, it will take a picture of your whatever you want it to take a picture of. You can add a link, and also when you could search for images. So again, these would be stock images. And then the nice thing is it also uploads this entire little box, so you can do all that. So if we're going to do a link, it's going to just say paste the link here, and I'm going to just paste our Padlet link there and hit enter. And then if you want to add any information to this, and the nice thing about this is you also can categorize it by color. So as you see here today, I've categorized competency 1, facilitate learning, in this purple shade. Competency 5, continuing pursuit of systematic self-evaluation and improvement in the educator role, is in the yellow. And competency 6, which is engaging in scholarship, service, and leadership, is in blue. So when I am taking this, again, can do any color that you like, pop the color in, and when you publish it, you have the color that is there. And again, if you see something that you want to modify, you can take it, edit it, and then you could add any additional information, adjust your title, and you are good to go. Everybody good with that? Okay.
No questions in the chat right now, Dr. Drews. You're good.
Okay, perfect. So let's move forward with how are we going to approach the CNE to be successful. And so the first thing that you would probably want to do is visit the NLN site and be able to take a look at the 3 options for the certified nurse educator. Today, we're going to focus on the certified nurse educator, the academic role, as well as the novice. And when you're looking at the core competencies, they're both 8 core competencies. Of course, when you're looking at the academic educator, it does have the 6 competencies, but it has in your your competency 6 has the ABC area. So when you're these are actually all of the competencies. So when you're reviewing the competencies, you can also be prompted then to download the handbook. So we're going to take a look at the some exam details. So when we click into this, and we could certainly, like I said, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so everybody could see it, and I'm going to pull it up a little bit more. So when you are getting yourself ready to take the exam, you have gone to the website, you've downloaded the handbook, you've looked at the competencies that are there, and then you've looked at all of those sub-competencies that have to align with the initial competency. When we're talking about facilitate learning, we are talking about being able to transfer knowledge. Post into the, I'm questioning, first of all, I want to ask everyone, do you have a teaching philosophy? And you could either, you could put it in the chat or you can off mic, but I want, so how many here know their teaching philosophy and can articulate that? Okay, so the majority of people are saying yes. How about your learners? How do you know, how do you identify the kind of learners that you have? Do you know how to do that? Written teaching portfolio, excellent. So how do you share your teaching philosophy with your learners? Some ways that you can share that is correct syllabus. You can, when you are in your introduction with your class, you can speak to the teaching philosophy that you have. Speak to how about welcoming students into a classroom? What are the things that are important to you when you are facilitating a classroom where you have to share information? Yeah, I definitely think it would be fun to do the Padlet, but when we are thinking about facilitating learning, and then we're thinking about the other 7 competencies, the thing to remember is you have to understand each of those competencies. So in terms of, how are you going to remember all of that? Understand what the questions are asking you, being able to put yourself in those scenarios. Again, taking apart the question that you are asking. So in terms of the exam itself, the exam's 150 questions. It has 20 questions that are used for future tests that they're just testing you on. But again, you have about 3 hours to complete the test. And when you're looking at the exam, it's typically multiple choice 4 options, and it is focusing on the Bloom level of Bloom's taxonomy, the cognitive level. So those levels that we're looking at would be the recall, apply, and analyze. So again, we're going from the lower level of Bloom's, where you're kind of remembering, you have some basic knowledge of the content, and you're moving forward to applying it to the situation, and then you're analyzing it. This is where you can actually look at a solution and evaluate it. Is this solution valid? Is it evidence-based? Does it actually pose the correct solution? Or if you are looking at the policy, the evidence that's been established, does that have you then going to another solution? So when you're, and then again, reading the question. So when you're looking at your questions, typically the multiple choice will include the case. So whatever the scenario is, it'll include the STEM, and then you're going to be able to ask the question, what is this question asking me? You could certainly highlight the information if that helps you extrapolate that important detail from there. And then you have the distractors. The distractors are incorrect but feasible answers. So the way that I like to approach a quiz and looking at questions is to think about the answer before you look at the answers provided, or think about your answer before you look at the responses provided, because the responses might sound perfect, but there's always a single word in there that is incorrect. So you would do that, and it would help you to preempt any kind of, okay, I'm looking and then I see two questions, two prompts that look like they would answer the question. So when you're looking at those, which one would better answer that? And go back to that competency and try to categorize it. If it's facilitate learning, is it talking about educational theory? Is it, if it is engaging in scholarship, what kind of scholarship are we talking about? Integration of practice? Are we talking about scholarship in education? So again, try to look at what the question and where the question is coming from in the competencies that you're going to review. Make sense? Any questions on that? Okay, so that, and then again, we could move this one back. Go ahead.
Yep, I don't see any in the chat. You're fine.
Okay, perfect. All right. So in terms of competency one, we are looking at 22% of the questions will be for the CNE, and 39% of those will be for the novice. Now, when you are reviewing that first facilitate learning competency, the nice thing to be able to know is that, okay, I'm looking at the blueprint of all of the percentages. You're going to do the percentages that are higher first. So really facilitate learning would be one of those areas that you're going to focus on. Facilitate learning and learner development and socialization, that would be another. Assessing assessing the student evaluation and program outcomes, that's another. So again, when you're looking at the competencies, try to focus on the competencies that are weighted heaviest first. Select what you don't know. If you're really needing assistance in terms of perhaps writing questions and item analysis, those things you can focus better on. Take the time that you'll need. And you do have, typically, I believe they give you 90 days from the time that you apply for the test till you have to take the test. So try to give yourself a good timeline where you are focusing, for the most part, on this content. I really do think it's good to focus on it at least 5 days out of the week, because then this way, and you don't have to spend a ton of time if you're looking at it every day, but it's going to stay fresh in your mind, and you'll be able to go back to it. I like to use mnemonics myself to be able to remember keywords and stuff that is relevant to content that I want to share. And there are so many tools out there that you can use. So some of the tools that I placed into this Padlet, I'm going to share with you now. So this way you can use these tools later. And again, you can add as many tools as you want to your own Padlet. You can use this Padlet to be able to continue to review the content that's here. So when we're looking at how we facilitate learning, there's so many elements to that. We're looking at the way that, where are we teaching? Are we teaching online? Are we teaching face-to-face? Are we teaching simulation type cases? Are we looking at our classroom environment? You know, the cultural makeup of and the diversity that's within our courses, and how are we enabling our students to feel welcomed, to promote an area of healthy learning. And so I really, when I was putting this together, I was looking at some of these different sites to kind of help you with your learning. Now, this one I do like. This is an open access resource. And when you look into this, and I'm just going to go back to it, it's a teaching strategy toolbox that was created. And it does have many of the traditional methods of teaching. So teaching strategies such as lecturing, such as high fidelity simulation. And think about it, the simulation along with case studies, unfolding case studies, are one of the most successful ways of being able to transfer information that you want students to learn, because it's so engaging. Can anybody think of another way to engage students that, especially in the clinical setting? I was going to put the stop down. But debriefing. Does anybody use debriefing in their practice? No matter where your practice is. I mean, the nice thing about the debriefing is you go through these experiences, and yeah, absolutely. Sheila, so what do you find? Yeah, post conferences, but think about it. When we're debriefing, it even can be after you could do it in clinical settings. That's great. You could do it with simulation, and again, having the students do these debriefings enables them to get perspectives from their peers, but it also enables them to basically do these 360-degree evaluations. Okay, this is what I did. This is what my peer had asked another person to do. And yes, that works. So maybe I should try to perhaps learn more about that teaching strategy. So again, and peer education, I think, is one of the most valuable types of education, because we all come from different places of life history. So concept mapping, as we are moving into different accrediting bodies, as well as the need for our nurses to know and actually apply concepts to professional practice. We're going to see more of concept mapping in the future. And the nice attribute of concept mapping is it really breaks down all the elements of specific concepts to tangible, workable tools that you can include into your professional practice. Again, when you're in an online course, what are you doing to engage students? How are you able to get them to be involved in polling is great, in synchronous engagement? There's different types of, we could certainly use polling when you want them to perhaps be synchronous while also being asynchronous. They can use flip grids where or video type of discussions where they put the video in and then they can respond to their peers in videos as well. a lot of the learning management systems now also enable a chat feature. So you can see if a student is online and be able to click into that chat and see that student. So again, just scrolling down, playing games. Again, there are Kahoot is a wonderful game that is truly something that I think a lot of folks have used. But even when you're using your PowerPoints, those can be interactive, and certainly there are so many. Canva is out there to make things look really pretty. There are many, many tools such as that. I said Google has, Dr. Sellers and I were just discussing, Google has so many available tools to use, and they're still free. So you can create a Google Classroom. You can create a survey that you want to share. Canva, yeah, I love Canva. So we've got a lot of great things. And then a role playing. Again, when you're doing a story, have the student finish your story. Have them work together to as a group to then address how they would solve a difficult patient scenario. And then again, I like this. You could use this case studies. There are numerous case studies out there. The debating, problem-based learning. Again, it's a good way to get feedback from the peers, the nurses, as well as the faculty. So again, so this is all in the toolbox of learning. And then what the other area that I wanted you to take a look at was, again, the domains of learning, which we'll pull that up, would be the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. And it's, again, going along with the key verbs that would substantiate those different domains. And moving down to the educational theory. So what are we thinking about our students, and what kind of theories do you actually see most in your professional practice, or what theory do you know best? And you could, again, go off mic and chat it in there. And just think about what we're doing today. What kind of learners are we? Quiet group today? Adult learning theory, yes. Andragogy, yes. So what do you think is the benefit that our adult learners have over our pedagogy when you're thinking of younger learners? Constructivism, yes. So what do you think? Experience, self-directed, right? Okay. So and the nice thing that I like to prior knowledge, as adult learners, we really do have that wonderful benefit of being able to navigate our way through things. We are multitask individuals most often than not. And when we do have that self-directed internal motivation, it enables us to create strategies for success that younger students do not have and haven't had that ability. Because when we think about all of the things that we accomplish in a day, sometimes in an hour, think about just the fact that you're here focusing on how you're going to be successful for the certified nurse educator. And then you're going to go back to your day and do everything else that the day demands. That is one of the winning things that adult learners possess, that we can certainly continue to be successful while juggling many other things. So yes, the andragogy, it's Malcolm Knowles. He is the father of andragogy and had created all of the elements of that really, when we're talking about what is important for adults, I'm sorry, my dog, the important things that would be is that the learner wants to have some vested interest in the learning. What will they then accomplish? Also, with the learners that are adult learners, they're taking their existing knowledge and applying it to content that is now being shared with them. So they're able to relate to that information better. And that the other learning theories, the behaviorism is probably one of the oldest. And again, that is something that addresses a reward for a specific behavior. So we're looking to, and that too, when you think about many of our learning objectives, many of them are behavioral objectives. So that is that, and I apologize for my dog. Any questions for that information?
Yes, Dr. Drews, there are a couple of questions. So the first question asks, what's the name of the article that was just up on the screen? I think that was under, yep.
It's Toolbox of Teaching Strategies in Nursing Education.
Very good, thank you. And then the next question asks, it says, there are so many adult learning theories. Which one from your experience is mostly used in the exam? They seem to overlap. Also, can you give a type of question that would involve a learning theory?
Sure. In terms of the questions that are used in the exam, again, it goes back to the cognitive theory, because they're what they're trying to do is have you recall, apply, and analyze. So when you are thinking, and I'm going to do a series of questions at the end, but one thing that I'm going to give you a case study type of scenario that would reflect a cognitive type of a question. So if you are in a clinical, let's go back one. If you are in a classroom and a student approaches you and the student feels that she doesn't have a voice to speak because perhaps she is in a marginalized population, how would you foster a healthy work environment? Would you send her to the student success area to speak to a navigator? Would you encourage her to create a voice for herself after you explain your welcoming her opinions as well? Would you share on a syllabus that you would also, so this might be a multiple choice then. So, I mean, more than one choice. Would you include a diversity, inclusion, and equity statement on your syllabus? Would, or would you tell her that she just has to be a little stronger? So A, B, or C. A is saying, okay, we'll direct them to student success and see what they can do. B would be to approach the student and encourage them to speak their minds. C would be to have that blanket statement that includes diversity, inclusion, and equity in your syllabus, as well as when you're doing your introduction in the class. And D would be to basically tell her that, she just hang in there and in a few weeks it'll get better. So, yeah. Yeah, again, so basically what you're trying to do is, you know already that facilitating a learning environment includes a healthy learning environment, an open learning environment. And as we're speaking on that, so I have included here, this is exactly what you're talking about. How are we including everyone in the learning experience? So how we're doing that, we have the environment is welcoming, we have everyone has a voice. But you know what I thought was an absolutely great thing to do was give them cards and let them actually identify something that would empower them in your class. You can have these cards that you create as well that will enable students to communicate and speak their needs, that student would feel supported doing so. Student will be empowered with the ability to advocate for themselves. These are key elements in what healthy and school classrooms should have. Think about it, every classroom should have that. So, and I love the fact that you could do your own cards for this as well. We are at 12:47, so I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. I apologize. And again, just being able to edit these little icons helps too, because then you could drag and drop wherever you need. One of the things that I would like you to practice with is many of these certification tests, you usually only have a minute or 2 minutes to be able to, it's usually about 70 seconds, maybe 75 seconds to take each test, take each question and answer within the time allotted. So you can practice doing this with a stop clock here. You just put in your time and set it, and then you could start it and take the countdown clock to what you would like to do with that. And then we have the strategies. We have, so what is some excellence in nursing education? This model came from the NLN, and it talks about how do we really demonstrate excellence in nursing education. So again, innovative evidence-based curriculum. So we're always asking the students to go back, as well as ourselves. When you are implementing evidence-based practice, you're looking at the policy behind every intervention you're doing. Usually when you're looking at those, and if you're trying to share and provide students with a way to identify PICO questions in practice, this is a great way to be able to say, okay, we know that there's a way to implement. Feel like I should win something with that. So, all right, I'm going to close it. But in terms of the PICO question, when you're using your evidence-based teaching, you can select an actual intervention and look at what's already been done. When you're looking at what's already been done and the validation behind that, sometimes you find that that specific item is already antiquated, the evidence is not updated. So that gives you great opportunities, as well as with those students, to look at the policy, update a policy, create a new intervention that would improve patient outcomes. So that is one definite way to use evidence-based research in your practice. So now we hit the deadline, and I'm sorry to say that we hit the deadline because I really haven't completely gone over competency 5 or 6, but I'm going to quickly do that now. And again, the things with being able to pursue systematic evaluation. So when you are teaching, you're always evaluating. And think about it, anything that you've written, anything that you've presented, all of those avenues of sharing information gives you the opportunity to reflect. So again, constantly reflecting on the information that you deliver will enable you to improve ways to be able to move forward more successfully the next time. And I constantly do that, as you can hear throughout some of this presentation, I have the dog in the background. Sometimes I use filler words because I still have COVID brain, but those kind of things are things that can be modified and improved on. So again, I always say, talk to yourself like you're talking to your best friend. And as you're doing that, know that you can get through these content areas, but just take the time to do it. Being part of professional organizations also is something that will continuously provide you with new avenues of information, improve your networking. The benefits are numerous when we're talking about being part of professional organizations. If you are in a school that's accredited, many of these accrediting bodies have organizations within those bodies themselves for students that students can join and then be part of a professional organization. Mentoring, if you have not had a mentor, think about mentoring someone, but also think about continuing your life goal and have that trajectory with a full list of mentors along the way. You don't need the same mentor all the time, but you should think about having a mentor to basically be this non-biased person who can speak to your professional practice and the goals that you want to achieve. Self-care and self-reflection. I can't tell you how many nurses I ask every day, what are you doing for yourself that is something that is just for you? And with a show of hands or icons, how many people are doing that? Do you do something every day for yourself? Or just put in the chat, yes or no. Okay. Yes, yeah. Say, Sheila, I can relate. So most of us are doing that. Even if you take 5 minutes to breathe, focus on yourself for a few minutes every day, and it's going to help your overall well-being in the long run. So you could take a look at that. I have the leadership styles, the different change theories, things that we can all do. You can all become peer reviewers for scholarly journals. Boyer's model is one of the models that has been most used in academic evaluation, and that speaks to teaching, discovery, integration, and application. And again, all of these things are things that you already do. So again, I would absolutely love to continue this, but we're at 12:54. So I have a quick little quiz that I'd like you to do. I'm going to share the link, and then let me, Dr. Sellers, I'm going to put this in. Actually, let me put it into everyone. And I apologize for going a little over. Sometimes I feel like there's always so much to share. So if when you see that link, you could take the quiz. I apologize. It does prompt you to put your name, your email address, and a password. You could just quickly put the email address and a password in there. And this is a great little tool. It's called Online Quiz Maker, and you can use it for taking the test, but at the end, it also gives you a little certificate of you did it. So any questions?
I don't see any questions in the chat, but I did just click on it for everybody. And there are sound effects. I wasn't.
Oh yeah.
For that. That's what you all heard. I clicked on a wrong answer.
So as you As you can see, it's and that's why I said it's fun to be able to see. You don't, it's not something that, you know, it's I don't see your grades or any of that stuff, but it's just a fun little tool that you can use to engage your learners. And let me just click the share again, just to make sure everybody's able to see that. Let me get the share. Yeah. Let's try that one more time. Okay. Yep. Yeah, same up. So actually I'll put, can I do the QR code? Okay. You can absolutely use my Padlet. It is, as long as you have the password and all that good stuff. Actually, while we're here, I'll just change the settings so anybody who has the link can do that. Okay. So let me go to the settings. And again, I am sorry about the dog. I tried to give her a melatonin before to keep her calm. Sorry, I'm kidding. Let me go to the share. Okay, so let's just, and so again, the privacy enables you to change the settings. You can keep it private, you can have it password protected, or you can make it available to the public. So you just hit the share privacy, and I'll just make it public. So then this way visitors will have permission, and I'm just going to have it so that you can read the content. And then you're good. Okay, that's it for me, everyone. I really appreciate all of your attention, time, and the great information. I will, here's the, yeah, let me post the quiz link again. And again, that is, and let me just show you this online quiz bank. So I really do like this because, again, when you create an account, it's free. It says plans, and there are expensive plans. I really don't use those, but this is basically what I have. I also use Google Forms because that also you can personalize those and share them. So again, we've got a lot of good things that are out there, and I look forward to sharing more tools with you at another time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Drews. For those of you that are on your journey to achieving C&E, we do have a full live webinar. It's actually going to be a masterclass that's going to include more questions on Sunday at 1 o'clock. So I did put information in the chat. If that is part of your plan to finish strong in 2022, we would be happy to have you on Sunday. But this is going to conclude our time together today.